Good morning, everyone. How are you? That static electricity thing is going on in the fall here, but whatever. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Kimberly Trimmel, and I just wanted to jump on for a few minutes this morning. And first off, say happy October. We made it through September. Yay. So as we get started, I'd like to say, if you're on Facebook while I'm live, there should be a way that you can add a privilege where StreamYard can actually allow your likes, etc., to be posted. So if you see that, if you could do that, that would be great. Other than that, I do believe that I have the ability to connect with everyone on by way of seeing your post or specifically seeing your likes. So number one, thank you, or number two, thank you so much. My name is Kimberly Trimmel, and I just want to take some time and speak into anyone who's listening's life today. Today I want to talk about common ground. Common ground. Why is common ground so important? So for some of you who might not know me, my name is Kimberly Trimmel. Thank you all for everybody who's been sharing my posts. I appreciate that. Through my years of speaking and coaching and training, I've actually recently just added John Maxwell content to what I speak on, specifically leadership and connecting, and specifically connecting teams and things of that nature. And one of the things I'm finding is that in this day and age, people don't connect. They talk at each other, right? They're like talking at each other, but they don't take the time to sit down. Well, and of course, we're not in shelter in place, but we are in a different place right now. But they don't take the time as much to connect. And I was speaking at a chamber the other day, and I was thinking, in this siloed world that we live in, now more than ever, it is important to connect with each other. So while you might wonder, why is connecting so important? World-renowned leadership expert John C. Maxwell, my actual mentor, says if you want to succeed, you must learn how to connect with people. And while it may seem like some folks are just born with the ability to connect, the reality is that it can be, and it most definitely is, a learned skill. For those of you who are out there managing teams and we're managing them in a siloed environment, now we're just starting to congregate live again. Good job. I mean, wow, what a time that it's been over these last few months. So I know everybody shifted and they pivoted and they made adjustments just to make certain that they could stay connected with their people. So what makes this time this morning to me so valuable is that my few minutes with you today is of my utmost priority. I step away from everything else and I connect with everybody on Facebook. And again, thank you for the likes. Thank you for sharing my posts. I appreciate that. And my purpose today is to raise awareness of the necessity of connecting. Not only that, but to highlight the fact that it is a teachable skill. So when we think about connecting, first off, we have to imagine, what does disconnect look like? I'll give you an example. Let's imagine somebody calls you and you're on your cell phone and you're talking and you're like, what'd you say? Huh? Could you repeat that? There's static on the line. Something like that is an example of a disconnect. It could be at the beginning of the conversation, or it could be during the conversation. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and things are going extremely well, and then all of a sudden you get static on the line, right? That's a form of a disconnect. If you think about the static, the reality is that static can keep us from connecting. And in a world that is increasingly in need of collaboration and connecting and consensus, it's important to know how to connect with people. So to ignore the ability to connect would be futile at best. When we try to connect, we have to remember that connectors understand that in order to be able to lead people, in order to be able to connect with people, we have to find common ground. It's just a necessity. I can't have my position strongly and you have your position strongly. And then for whatever reason, we don't try to find a happy medium. We'll never get anything accomplished. So when we think about common ground, my mom used to say something like agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. So what would that look like? Well, agree to disagree. One person has one perception and another one has another. So if you've ever seen that diagram of the two profiles of two different faces facing each other, it either looks like two vases or it looks like two vases, or it looks like a vase or two faces. So why is this important? Because it takes a moment to reflect and think, what exactly am I looking at here? What is this that I'm looking at? What if I see the two faces and somebody else sees the vase? I could sit here all day long and talk about, well, I see two faces. And then you could talk all day long and say, well, nope, I see a vase. So if we think about this, we have to be mindful of the fact that what we see is relevant. What we see is relevant. What we think is relevant. But when we're talking to somebody else, we have to take what we see and what they see and try to find a common ground. And sometimes, quite candidly, that can be, scary because everybody's not going to agree with our perception. But that's the reason for the common ground. When we're working with our teams, we have to think of things like, what's our vision? A good leader has vision. Is your vision the same thing as your team's vision? Do you even know what your team's vision is? That kind of speaks to culture. So trying to figure out, what is my team's vision? Where are they trying to go? Are they going the same direction I'm going in? It doesn't do any good for your team to be going this way when you're trying to go that way. Everybody should have a unified front. So having vision, and not only any vision, but a shared vision, is critically important. One principle that you'll find is that connecting increases your influence, which drives the vision in every situation. So think about good leaders. What do they generally have? We just spoke about one of them, vision, the ability to see the direction that they'd like to see the company go in. Or it could be a family, or it could be a faith institution. Pragmatism. When they're pragmatic, they're actually reasonable and they approach things in a logical fashion. A good leader has pragmatism. When we talk about consensus building, this is where that common ground comes into place, because there's no way to have consensus unless you actually have a conversation and you build. Number one, you have to have trust. They have to trust you. They have to know that you're going in a direction that is solid and that you're solid in your ability to get there. And then they jump on board with you. So a good leader has vision. They have pragmatism. They are good at consensus building, collaborative efforts. And they're charismatic. They have charisma. They have just this effervescent charm. They're just this bubbly kind of attractional person. And then, of course, they're trustworthy, which is what I just said. So a good leader has all those 5 qualities. Those 5 qualities are key in gaining common ground with your people. So vision, have a vision of where you want to go. This is a perfect time to start doing strat plan or planning for your 2021. October, November is usually a great time, especially if you're in real estate, though it's been busy, busy, busy lately. But the reality is it's a perfect time to start working on what do I want 2021 to look like? What are my income goals? What do I want to do as far as market share? Things of this nature. What are some challenges? What are opportunities? So that's one of the things we've done in strat planning. So have vision. Be pragmatic when you approach things. Be reasonable, be logical. And that can sometimes take effort because we are by nature emotional beings. Can you believe that? We're emotional beings. And so for us to really get to a place of leading, we have to take a back step. And sometimes we have to not only listen to someone above us in quote unquote superior seniority, et cetera, but below. Leadership bottom up. Top down, I think I mentioned this last time we chatted, doesn't work the same way anymore. Now people want to feel part of something. Community is now more than ever important and attractional because we've come from March, April, May, and the beginning of June of virtually not doing anything. We've been Zooming, and now we're finally getting to the place where we're meeting. So I'll close with this. These are 5 qualities that will help you get started. You've got vision, the ability to see where you want to go, plan your future. And I usually recommend looking at a year or 5 years out, 1 year out, building to today. So that's one of the things that can be done in a goal setting session. Pragmatism, be logical in your approach, be reasonable in your approach. Work on your consensus building. Again, we have many dynamic thoughts out there in this world. And because of that, we want to work on being collaborative, having a collaborative and a unified front with everyone going in the same direction. Charisma, attempt to become more charismatic. Now, does that mean it's a natural skill? Or does that mean that there's things that you can do in your self-development that will make you more attractional? It is possible to learn that. Now, there are some naturals and then there are some learned. But the beauty of it is no matter where you fit in, it's your journey. It will, through time, add value to your ability to connect. And then, of course, trustworthiness. Remain in integrity. Remember ethics. Remember, confidentiality. Things that people are going to remember you for and feel drawn to. So hopefully, I would say that one of the things that I've learned over the last few months is, and being sheltered in place with my adult children, is that I have to relate to them differently now than I would, well, first off, when we weren't sheltered in place. Second of all, when they were younger. I'm finding that they have a lot to say. And since they have a lot to say, I needed to create that space to listen to them in a non-judgmental, but receptive, not necessarily full on agree, but environment. And unless it was something that was a total, deal breaker, they felt valued. And when we're dealing with cross-generational, ages, we have to remember everybody comes to the table with a different experience, a different perception. And now more than ever, people want to be heard. And that doesn't necessarily mean you'll agree, but you want to work on finding common ground. And if any of this resonates with you or you have any questions at all, you can always feel free to text me, email me, catch me on YouTube. I have a channel there. I'm on Facebook. And feel free to reach out if I can be a thinking partner for anything, however I can add value to you. I'd be honored to do so. Well, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy your Friday. It is Faith-Filled Friday. Use your imagination to fuel your dreams. Look forward towards what it is that you'd like to accomplish, and then build a plan backwards on how to get there. Remember, begin with the end in mind when it comes to goals. Find common ground to have people that you lead or that you intend on leading follow suit and work with you, because the intent is a collaborative effort. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for allowing me to be part of your world on this sunny Friday afternoon. Be well. Take care.